Hello again from my front porch. Today we're going to chat about a topic that, well, it's near and dear to my heart, as most of the topics we chat about are, but it's one that has evolved for me over the years, and I mean that seriously, literally. This program, to a large extent, has been documenting my own personal journey as when Ashley got married about 10 years ago. It was the first time I was on my own entirely ever in my life. And that led me on this journey of, okay, who even is Paul Smith? And, what is he all about? And during that decade, I have learned a great deal about myself. Well, by the way, that means coming up in September, they'll have their 10th anniversary, and so will we. So will this show. Can you believe 10 years? Wow. I can't believe some of you have been putting up with me for that long. But anyway, seriously, this topic is one that the topic is finding peace in moving on, being able to let go, to give it away, to not dwell. And I know those all have a negative connotation, and the things that I'm going to talk about today are, I think, were detrimental to me. But it doesn't always have to be that way. Sometimes the concept of just moving on, you can leave something that's not a problem, but there's something better. And going there is still moving on for your benefit. So I want to be clear about it. It's not always just leaving something negative to go. You can just be improving from something good to something great, But back to the scenarios at hand. When I was younger, I used to have a lot of trouble with letting go of stuff, because once I got my teeth into something, like a political issue or a social group crusade or some family issue or once I was fixed on something and decided it was important, I oftentimes would obsess about that. I would be like the proverbial dog with the bone. I'm not letting go until it happens. And rarely did that work out the way that I wanted it to. Generally, it just resulted in me being frustrated and disappointed. And it also damaged some relationships with people, especially professional relationship, people that I only had a marginal connection with because of my association with a trade group or a civic group or something, but because of my overzealous passion on some topics, I could drive a wedge between myself and this other person, and that relationship would just stop, would just come to an end. And looking back, I can see that. I can see where I did those things, and I'm not proud of those things. But as with most things in life, we look back, we see our mistakes, and as much as it makes us just cringe, we also understand that they help shape us into who we are today. And that's kind of how I feel about that. So here are the areas where I had to learn to let go, to move on, to not let myself just stay stuck in the quicksand of these things. And I'm sharing these, well, both again because the point of this program has long been me sharing this kind of stuff, but also I do this, as I've said before, I do this because I believe deep down that there are some people watching who are going to be able to relate to what I'm going to share. And you're either going to be challenged by what I share, and you'll be provoked to think, maybe I need to consider that too. Or you're going to be encouraged by what I share, because maybe you've done something similar. You've been on a comparable journey, and it's good to know somebody else was there and somebody else is trying to follow the path that you're on. So whichever that is for you, I hope that it does pay off for you. But so there are three distinct areas that I know that this my evolution and my maturing of being able to move on from things really has revealed itself. One was, I used to worry a lot about a lot of stuff, about almost everything. Now, if you have known me for any length of time, especially from before this last 10 years, you would know that I don't usually give off that vibe. That's because I do a good job of internalizing that. As what we talked about in another episode a while back, I have that liability of just keeping everything bottled up inside because I don't want. I'm too focused on supporting everybody else that I don't want to be in need of anyone else's support. I know that's a horrible characteristic. I get that. Something else I'm trying to work on, but that's the reality of where I've been. And I don't say that trying to bait people for compliments or to sound like some kind of martyr. The reality is I have just always been wired to prioritize pretty much everybody else and put myself in last place. Over this last decade, I've been working on trying to change that. I'm trying to embrace the fact that I'm worthy of being loved. I'm worthy of being respected in a professional level and in a community level with the work that I do with local groups, and I'm worthy of being told good job when I sing national anthem, not because I'm a superstar singer, but because I do care about it and I take it seriously and I do a good job. I think there are other people who do a much better job, but still, I won't go around bragging about myself. I won't tout that stuff and yell it from the rooftop. But I have increased my ability to be comfortable with recognizing these things about myself. But I used to worry about stuff that had not happened, stuff that probably was not going to happen, stuff that wasn't even realistic that it would happen. But internally, in my own head, I was a king of the what if game. And that would paralyze me. It would paralyze me from making decisions, from taking action, from pursuing my dreams, from even sharing what my dreams were with anyone, because of all the what if. Somehow, over time, especially since we've begun this front porch journey together, I have evolved that into, I still do the what ifs. They still come up in my head. But I've been able to evolve it into proactive thinking. That it's more, what if that happens? Well, then I would do this. Or, well, what if they think this? Well, then maybe I should do this, so they never think that in the first place. I'm not perfect at that. I don't do that, just flawlessly. But I am a million times better at it now than I used to be. And that has helped me to be able to let go of some of that and move on. That when I find myself worrying about things, getting worked up about things, I am able to sit back and go, well, now hold on. Number one, how likely is this to even happen? Number two, how soon would it even happen? Am I worrying about something that's, it's not going to come up tomorrow or next week or next year even if it ever comes up. So why would I stress about it right now? But also with this more proactive mentality, when something pops in my head, what if this? What if this? Instead of letting that be crippling and stifling, I now can embrace it and say, oh, that's a good thought. You know what I need to do? I need to address it in advance. And so then that's what I try to do. And it helps me be able to peacefully move on. Again, I'm not flawless. It doesn't work 100% of the time. But wow, I'll tell you, it works a whole lot better than when I wasn't even trying any of that before. Another area number 2, perceptions. When I was younger, oh wow. I mean, I can't even begin to describe how obsessed I was with how other people perceived me. There are probably reasons if I wanted to lay down on my swing and let you psychoanalyze me. I'm sure I could come up with all kinds of stuff from childhood, from high school, well, from what limited memories I have. I really don't have a lot of. My mind doesn't. I'm not able to retrieve a lot of memories from my youth and my childhood, which is neither here nor there. But suffice to say that I could probably come up with some stuff to answer. Oh, what was it like growing up? That's not the point. Point is, I was so worried about how other people saw me that I was going to say impacted. I'm going to say infected. That's a better, more descriptive term. It infected the way that I interacted with people, including my own family. There was a period of time when I was a young adult in my, I don't know, I'll say late 20s, early 30s, when I hardly had really any involvement with my own family at all, my parents, my siblings. And it wasn't because I didn't like them. It was because somehow in my mind I had these blinders on that I needed to focus on my life. I needed to work on me. I needed on my family. We needed to blah, blah, blah. And in the course of doing that, I eventually discovered that I caused some damage to those relationships, that members of my own family thought I believed I was better than them, that I was superior to them, that I was the big city guy, the guy who went to college, and that made me special and smarter and better. And now today I know I am better. No, I'm kidding. but seriously, there was some issue that was there for a while, and it was caused by me and my withdrawing because I was obsessed about perceptions, and I thought that I needed to improve myself, and that somehow my family was not going to help that. And not just my immediate, my extended family, that my friends that I had known prior to that, through high school and even a little bit afterwards, that I would evaluate those to. Now, this is going to sound crass. It wasn't quite this bare bones about it, but there was an element of, okay, what does this person fill in my life, and is that benefiting me for my success? See, that's a horrible way to choose your friends, to choose the people to be around you. But I was guilty of doing a little bit of that. I mean, I didn't turn my back directly on people, but I did choose to spend a lot more time with those who I thought there was something in it for me. Now, I don't like admitting that about myself. I don't like acknowledging that I went through that phase. I'm grateful I came out of it, though. Very, very grateful. And I can't tell you what the trigger was that did that, but I did. And at some point, through my maturing and my evolving, I was able to recognize the opinions of others and how they perceive me matter about this much. Oh, they do matter some. Like in my workplace, it does matter how others perceive me. If they perceive me as being coming off sound like I'm a know-it-all, that I'm Mr. Smarty Pants, that I don't want to listen to anybody else's opinion, I'm just going to that's bad. That is not healthy, and that is not going to help me to be able to implement the things that I am supposed to be doing as part of my job. So, with that being the case, then I have to be mindful of that. I do have to be aware of how other people see me, so that if there are issues, I can address them. But aside from that, I don't need to care about what people think about me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So that awareness has given me a certain sense of self-confidence, actually, and a strength to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and be able to say, you know what? I don't care. Forget about it. Doesn't matter. That's your problem, not mine. I know it's cliche, but it's true. Now, the final area, number 3, is stressing over relationships. Boy, have I been guilty of this. I can get way too involved in a relationship. I used to get way too involved way too fast. That was problematic for a lot of reasons. And I'd like to say that I'm over that, but I had a more recent scenario that proved I am not completely over that. When there's a connection you feel with somebody, it's easy for me to get sucked into that. But no relationship should cause stress. No relationship should cause you anxiety. Negative anxiety. Maybe a little anxiety of, oh, I wish we were together more. But no relationship should be that way. And so when I think back to things happen for a reason, if you're in a relationship and it goes south, whether you want it to or not, whether you agree that it should or not, that's not the point either. It takes two to have a relationship, and it doesn't. And yeah, my feelings matter, but just because I like somebody doesn't mean they're under any obligation to like me back. And in fact, if they like me back out of a sense of obligation and not because they actually like me, that's not good. If I try to get in a relationship with somebody, and this has happened, if I try to get a relationship with somebody and it turns out we're not really as in sync as I think we are, well, the best thing to do is to let it go. Whether me walk away or her walk away, either one, because if we're not correctly aligned, then it's not going to work. Things happen for a reason. Things don't happen for a reason. And yeah, sometimes that can really suck. Sometimes that can just get you right here. Trust me, I know that very well also. But the reality is, if it's not meant to be, then don't try to force it. Don't bleed and beg. Oh, don't keep pursuing. Don't keep trying to make something materialize that isn't already there. It's a hard lesson. And when you're really into somebody, it's really tough to let them go. But if you want it and they don't, there's nothing there to hold on to anyway. Likewise, if they want it and you don't, you're only causing damage if you stay. So, I have learned to be less stressed over relationships because much as I might want a relationship to work, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And if you try to coerce the person or manipulate the person into staying with you, that's definitely not going to work. So, if I want to be happy, if I want to be in peace, then I have to accept to not worry about stuff that I don't need to be worrying about, not obsessing over perceptions that other people have of me, and certainly to not be stressing over relationships that aren't going anywhere. What's the point? Now, your list of things might be different, but I guarantee everybody has a list like that. And if you can identify those things, and if you can really give them some thought, and you can really noodle over how do I overcome these things, what are the things I can do to address this, you can get to a point as well where you can let it go and move on. You know, as the Christmas song, the song in the one Christmas show says, you just put one foot in front of the other. I don't mean to make light about it, but don't live in misery. Don't live in pain. Don't live in suffering. Don't wallow in your own self-diagnosed lowering of your own credibility, of your own self-confidence, of your own opinion of yourself. You are worthy. You are deserving. You are an incredible person. Yeah, stuff happens. But don't dwell on it. Don't fixate on it. Let it go and move on. There you go. That's my sage wisdom for you from, my maturing elements. But seriously, consider what I've said and see how it applies to you. All right, well, I got some dark clouds rolling in, some wind. We'll see. It's supposed to blow through here in just a couple hours, so I'm not too worried about it. But I suppose I should not be on the front porch just in case. It's all windows around me out here. All right, well, with that, I'll let y'all go, and I'll see you, I hope, next time from my front porch.